What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Too much. Too much. Right now, we are farming. Because we're about to make a $7X mythic fam. Yeah, something like that. $100. There you go. That's about right. What's up, Nikki? Well, let's get this kicking. The early bird special.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Make rain.
And for those of you wondering what the hell I'm doing in R1, I just need one Ulxa. Check this out. If we go into Fusion, check this out. Rombolio got a boost. He's now got 984 health. He used to have 500 something. So, +5, he's going to be a monster. And he's now got redirect. He's got evade and redirect. So, all we need is one Ulxa to make another Ulxaroth. And then we're going to +5 this bad boy. And we're going to have one for PvP. So, we're after an Ulxa right now. I'm using the 200% capture rate book. There's obviously no day bonus today. But, when's that ever stop me? Let's get an Ulxa. Make +5 Rombolio and PvP test. That's the plan. That is the plan. We're gonna do a rave raffle right now. Figure we do a few rave raffles. Leg drop. Right? 3 tries. I'm telling you, all you have to do before you open the box, just say out loud, I don't even want Melvin. I don't even want Melvin stew. All I want is some paste. And you'll get that thing. You'll get it. Whatever it is. I'm telling you, it's a secret. It's twice now we've done that.
Fuck your couch, nigga. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch.
Wookie, did you just get it? Did you follow the tried and true recipe of not wanting it? Yes! See? Proven. Proven to work. Yep, we just need 1 Ulxa, and we're gonna make a +5 Rombolio and test it in PvP. Is Melvin Stew better for bait than Wraith? I've gotten away from Astros Datum. I'm not using it. I am using Baronet, period. Baronet with dual strike and empower runes, man. That's it. Everything is easier. Everything is easier with Baronet. And when everything is easier, that tells me it's better. Yeah, all we need is 1 Ulxa. We get to make a +5 Rombolio and use it in PvP! Come on. And in all honesty, I will make 7. I just don't want to farm 2 Ulxas tonight.
Make it rain. Make it rain. Make rain.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let yesterday you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Yes, you're right. Golden Fam, you're right. I don't even want Ulxa right now, guys. I don't even want Ulxa. We're just here for the legendary drops. We want an Astaroth, and we do not want an Ulxa tonight. We don't. We're here for the legendary drops. We need a bunch of Sunders so we can make a Sunder split. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Wooks. I'm gonna boot up Zero right now, and Zero's gonna do it with you. He still needs 1 or 2 more sets, I think. Yeah, that's fine. He's got a shit ton of energy. I might as well. I bought 150 of those energy pots on Zero. Yeah, Zero needs sets. He does. Which ones? I don't remember. But he does. Let me try and get this 2 Kira captures going. Damn you. If I don't catch it right, it won't pick up the window. Son of a gun. Still the same deal, huh? There we go. And Zero's about to hit 417. That's pretty dope. Let me turn on World Boss invites really quick. See if there's any friends we can delete. Oh, rip. There's a few we can delete. Disc guys I shouldn't really be deleting, but sucks to be you. Blue Man and Maximal are supporters. Oh, Tony won. IGN got it. I'm gonna start another raffle. Same raffle right now. I love the change. I love the change that it keeps you in the same slots. So good. Zero has item find on, right? Yes, yes he does. Yeah, 0 is still missing 2 drops. Although the mythic item, the mythic staff is better, I'm still going for it anyway because of the healing bonus. I gotta say, my favorite thing of the last update is that everybody returns to their same slot in World Boss now. That, I mean, seems like it's such a basic thing, but wow, is that nice. So convenient. Yeah, I've done that so many times. At least 3 times. I've started with the tanks, not in the front. If you saw all the shit I have on my screen, I'll switch to Healing Pet on 0 after this. Right now he's running Quimby. You want Boiguh or Jemmy? Who's in party right now? Wookie? You want Jemmy? Alright. Got it. Ready for invite. Oh, let me do one thing too. I want to look really quick. Just confirm the items I'm sitting on really fast. Yeah, I still need 2 more sets. The crazy thing about Zero, he has multiple accessories and multiple pets that are +4. It is so hard to +4 one damn accessory and 1 pet. Ooh, this raffle's about to end. Ulzarge. Ulzarge. You got 1 minute, buddy. And we're gonna go ahead and start the next raffle right now. I've been in kind of want to go back and watch some of my zombie movies, man. I got a pretty big collection of that and like Goonies. Been wanting to have some zombie time. And of course Zero gets a foot. Yeah, the old Dawn of the Dead was fantastic. The new one's pretty good. Army of Darkness is pretty insane.
coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of it.
John,
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
I've been kind of addicted to this audio podcast. It's on YouTube as well, called Sasquatch Chronicles. It's basically this cool dude, Wes, that interviews people that have had like encounters. And it's pretty damn addicting. Each show's about an hour. So I'm usually listening to that these days when I'm going to sleep. That's kind of replaced my movie time. Yeah, a lot of encounters. A lot of encounters. If you go up to the current ones are pretty freaky. Yeah, that's just insane. That's totally insane right there. 25% absorb. Yeah, I need one Oxa right now, and then we could make 6 Rombolios and go wreck some PvP. So my hopes are not high, honestly. It takes forever to get one Oxa offer. I did stream yesterday, actually. It was really late though. About this time. About 11. Depends how you define best, I guess, Bear. There's a leaderboard. You can go in town and click on it, and pretty much the leader on all the leaderboards is triple S1. Come on, give me an offer. Avid's ready for an invite. Raffle winner. Urasi. Hey, Urasi, are you a World of Tanks player? Urasi's got 1 minute to reply. Before we do a new draw. You got 40 seconds, Urasi.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
Come on, Urasi. Yeah, you just gotta say something. Yes, your IGN, please, though. Urasi. World of Tanks, I think. Rip, my friend, rip. Intricated. Intricated is the next winner. Awesome. Is that your IGN? Nice. Okay, starting another raffle right now. Leg drop. Yeah, coins carry over stream to stream. I do not see you in there, Pablo. You probably need to check your settings. Or make sure you have 100 coins. Making me blush, cheese, making me blush. That's good, man. Means you can enter a lot of raffles with 400,000 coins. That is a lot of raffles. Yeah, gambling. I hear you on that. Oh, another leg drop, Necrolite for our homeboy Zero. Usually legs and sets come in spurts, so in theory somebody should get a set. We're like right now. I know I normally get legs and sets back to back. I don't think there's such thing as bragging when you're putting on a show. I think you guys are here to see crazy shit, right? I'm looking for one Oxa. One Oxa, and we can go off and make a +5 Rombolio and use them in PvP. Pretty stoked about his boost to stats. Have a look at his current stats. He used to have 500 health. He now has 900 health. And that's before he's +5. Yeah, he's gonna have almost 2,000 health +5, I think. Yep. You gotta study, guys. When they say they buffed Mythic Fams, right? Go check it out. I guess that's what I'm here for, though. Your source of info. Awesome opening, congrats, man. He had 500 hit points when they released him. He now has 900. Leg drop. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and post in my status updates before and after on Mr. Rombolio. We just need one more. We just need one Oxa, Jeff. Jeff, you'd be proud. I've been pretty consistent with changing my runes today. Marino Cole DBA, winner. You got 1 minute in chat, Marino. Marino. All right, drawing the next winner. Yeet Bix 123. Yeet Bix 123. Yeah, unfortunately when I'm doing these raffles I have to do a bunch of data entry. Flip in between screens. That's why we're not doing betting at the same time. I need a bigger monitor or more monitors. I was thinking about doing a 4K monitor. Nice, Yeet. If you guys have any monitor suggestions, post them in Discord and at me. I'm thinking about doing a 4K monitor just because I want to try gaming in 4K, and I figure, and streaming in 4K. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'd like to play some World of Tanks. Everything on maximum at 4K. Yeah, I should probably go try it, right? Before I make the jump. We should have a level up here any second. We got 2 level ups actually. Zero just hit 417. Kiraz is about to hit 409. There you go. Oh, is that true, not? Yeah, if that's the case, then oh my god, I'm gonna mess up my perfect stat distribution now. Really? Damn you, Zero, and your feet drops. Purple's only got a gigantic block for a hand. I just realized 1101. My attack now matches your name. Super rigged. Watch him win the raffle too. I wasn't watching. Did we give out the 2 level ups already? Let me drop really quick, Not. I want to apply this one TS. Okay, so there is a 1-minute timer on level up. You can go ahead and do the next one if you want, Jeff.
Make it rain. Make it rain. Make rain.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
Don't you know about the bird? Well, Peter's gonna tell you about the bird. Well, a bird, well, a bird.
Hadouken!
Winner of the raffle. Best vid 2017.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
What's your IGN, buddy? Really? That's epic right there. Oh, your in-game name, so we can add you. Alright, congrats, Mega. Nice, Optech. Be sure to join in the first 7 minutes when the stream goes live. I give out 700 coins. It's the early bird reward. There's a notifications you can set on YouTube, which will pop something on your phone. Zero with another foot. We're about to have a winner drawn any second. Monitor. Monty-tur.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
Congrats, buddy. Is that your IGN? Nice. Okay. What's coming up next? The next raffle is going to be a 7-day temp slot, 7-day grind slot on Kira and Zero. So you get a Kira's ad and a Zero Crash ad, and you get it until next week at this time. Both in one shot. And I'm gonna use this to promote the channel right now. So it's actually gonna be for 1 coin, guys. One coin. For those of you that were so worried about coins and people having too many coins, no need to worry. And everybody can join. That is right. It's going to be 30 minutes. Gag. You're already entered, Mark. Yeah, your name's on screen, buddy. What's up, newbie? Hey, it's a good time to wake up. Nice, newbie. I need one Ulxa, and we can go off and make 6 Rombolios. And go mess around in PvP. I am waiting to make them with you right now. As soon as we get one more Ulxa, we're gonna make 6 Rombolios together. Actually, 5 more Rombolios together. I don't think I'll be getting this Ulxa tonight though. Probably be the next stream. Leg drop. You know, Joker, there's that part, the line in the Goonies where he goes, I hope it wasn't a deposit bottle. We need that. Good thing there's a cooldown. Right after he knocked the water tank over. Here we go. This is for you, Jeff.
Okay, Mel. That's all I can stand. And I can't stand no more. I got it! I got it! I got it! I don't got it. You klutz. Hope it's not a deposit bottle.
I just messaged Val about the sound, and the reply was, "I'm laying down resting," and I was like, "Oh, get some rest. See you tomorrow." And he's like, "I'm not resting. I'm listening to the riveting R1 heroic gameplay." This is a good dual screen night. We got R1 on one side and World Boss waiting for someone on the other side.
go, money talk.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money.
Here we go, money talk.
Here comes the money.
Dollar, 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 dollar.
Coins are for entering raffles. Raffles are for winning friends and gift cards.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
What's up, Walks? I should take those song ones out. Those don't actually work. Okay, see you in a bit, Walks. Andres, no. Since you have a perm spot, it would not change it to 7 days. Yes, this is for a 7-day grind slot. This time next week, you'll be wondering how you lived without us. Yeah, this time next week you're going to be wondering how you're going to live without us. A 12-hour kick timer. Raffle info is on the screen. You got the name of who's being raffled, top left, and the kick timer, and how many coins to enter, and the last entry. This raffle is for Kiraz and Zero Crash. It's a 7-day timer, so this time next week is when the friend ads end. gonna do raid 7. That way I don't want to set off. I don't want people going broke following me on the 777. 1 minute? And someone's raid team is about to get kicked into high gear for 7 days. About 30 seconds and you'll see the winner's name come up in that little box. Pablo ESC. Winner. I just need your IGN, buddy. And guess what we're about to do? Another raffle for the exact same thing. Right now. 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna go to sleep, so. Got the exact same raffle, 7 days, 1 coin, right now. And Ski needs to get added. There goes the 0 ad, Ski. There goes the Kiraz ad. Congrats, Pablo. Enjoy. I hope we help your team. For those of you that didn't hear or missed it, there's the exact same raffle going on right now, but on a 10-minute timer. You guys beat the raid.
Black thing go from left to right, and I thought, I'm gonna see how evil the eyes were.
What? He said, just grab a gun. And there's footprints all the way to the door.
So this is the show
inside my garage,
that I listen to at night before I go to bed. Probably scares most people, but not me.
Jesus Christ, you better... Sir? Zia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh.
You're listening to Sasquatch Chronicles. Check us out online at SasquatchChronicles.com. If you've had an encounter, email me. My email address is wes@SasquatchChronicles.com.
If you want to subscribe, which I suggest you do, it's Bigfoot Hotspot Radio, but the show specifically, there's 2 shows on that channel.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Wes
tonight.
is the
Got
man.
A great show planned for you tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed Friday night show with KW. It was a little bit different. Very strange property. Next time I'm in Texas, I'll have to go down there and check that out. If you've had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is wes@SasquatchChronicles.com. My guest tonight is Bill. And Bill was out working on his property, had lit some fires, and then he heard this coming towards him.
Oh, we got an Astroth offer.
Very odd, very strange. Well, let's bring Bill on to hear this encounter story. Bill, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Welcome. Glad to be here, and it was nice to meet you today over the phone.
Yeah, no, it was great talking with you too. And I know your encounter took place in the Sierras, I believe. If you would,
this is pretty close to my house. Only a couple hours from my house.
Just kind of walk us into the encounter, Bill, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, not at all. Do you mind if I give you a little bit of history about the
I actually go camping up here.
Of course, of course.
Okay. So back sometime either freshman or sophomore year in high school, almost 50 years ago, my father bought darn near a section of land privately held land in the Sierra Nevadas above Forest Hill, California, and if you will, kind of on the backside of Lake Tahoe, that area. It's all the property of the 640 acres. We only own 320 acres now, but that section of land is bordered completely by national forest. I believe it's the Tahoe National Forest. So it's surrounded by federal land on all sides. And he bought that kind of on a wing and a prayer when I was young, and we spent a lot of time camping and hunting and fishing and improving the property. A couple of wells, and we have decks and probably 3 or 4 real nice campsites. And for the most part, it's private, except for an occasional hunter or a quad or four-wheel drive person coming through. Anyway, he passed a couple years back, and I've kind of taken over the caretaking of the property, putting in gates and trying to maintain the campsite so my children still use it. And this event, I think, was spurred by, I don't know if anybody's listening that would know anything about the fires in California, but back in 2013, we believe somebody that was growing dope down in Devil's Basin, which is on the North Fork of the Middle Fork of the American River, some 10 miles from our property, started a fire, and it ran that full 10 miles, almost 12 miles, and burnt 27,000 acres. That was in 2012, 2013. We got kind of locked out of that property because of road hazards, tree hazards, and the Forest Service had everything locked down until I got everything.
In Sona, winter.
So I had to wait almost a year before I got back up there. So then the turn of the calendar, as I had time from work, I shot up there on weekends and began to cut trees that had been damaged by the fire and started building piles, slash piles that were the size of a Volkswagen, essentially. And I built 20 piles, covered them with plastic, kind of waiting for the weather to change so I could safely burn them. And by the way, I might mention that I did a 33-year in the fire service, so I was kind of used to doing this type of work. It was municipal, but nevertheless a long time in the fire service. So come a couple weeks before Thanksgiving in October 2014, we had the first weather event. It rained about an inch, at least down in the Sacramento Basin, so I was sure there was quite a bit more rain up there. Took off work, shot up there, did a little prep work, and began to light 6 of the 20 fires.
There goes the zero ad.
Later that, and I didn't know this at the time, but those fire piles, those slash piles that I had built, were kind of in a row, not really purposely, but that's kind of where all the deadfall was that I cut and piled. And it covered.
And there goes the Kiraz ad.
And it actually
enjoy in Sona. Hope that helps your raid team.
Property that first night. So anyway, inch of rain, was reasonably warm, and I burnt all night long. I only got 6 piles down, cleaned up, went home, went back to work. The next Thursday, a week before Thanksgiving, another rain event, and now we got about 2 inches of rain, so I knew I could go up and just light them because there was just no danger of the fire spreading. And even though the American fire to burn about everything else there was to burn up there. So got out of my truck after driving for a couple hours that Friday before Thanksgiving, and lit the remaining 13 fires off, flash piles off. I worked them all day long, and at about 8:30 at night I got pretty exhausted. And the first night I was up there a week earlier, I'd slept out on the Chase Lounge chair in front of one of the fires because it was warm enough, but it got real cold. I was expecting it to drop below 0 that night, so I got in the back of my truck and a sleeping bag and went to sleep. Was going to make it through the night. I didn't even worry about tending the fires because it was getting really, really cold. And about 11:30 at night, I hear the first sound, and it was, from what I could tell, coming up from the west, and it was a scream, a holler, and a growl kind of all mixed together. And I think I sent you a link to Ontario localization. Did you get a chance to listen to that?
I did.
Yeah.
Let me, and so what you heard was this.
It's 2 in the morning. He's in the middle of the woods. And he hears that. He's all alone. That is no mountain lion.
So you get up there, and what happens next? You start lighting the fires?
The second Friday up there, I got all the fires lit, and it's kind of I think it was pretty close to zero when I finally, bedded down, and kind of an inversion. It was weird. The rain had stopped. Everything was soaking wet, and it felt like the pressure got real high, because what happened is the smoke that was generated from these fairly large piles, 13 large piles, wasn't any more than about 12 feet off the deck. It was just thick as pea soup, London fog. And as I was bedded down, as I woke up, I could actually look out the window of my camper shell and see that the long line of glow, the fires were kind of glowing and flickering. Not a lot of real heavy flame, but nevertheless, it lit the passenger side of my truck up a little bit, and I could see the fires and realize they weren't going anywhere. But I was awakened right at about 11:30 by the first scream. And I say scream, it had no flavor at all of a human scream. It was more of a roar, growl, howl type of noise. And the first thought that came as I was waking up is that somebody had set a trap for a bear, and the damn bear was caught in the trap. And I'm thinking, man, there's not much I can do to help out because I didn't have a firearm with me. And not to mention, I wasn't too keen on walking out in that forest alone, armed or otherwise. And I'm thinking, okay, this is one. And then within, a couple of 15 seconds, I hear another one. And my estimate on distance, it was pretty close to a mile, 3/4 of a mile away to the south and west of where I was at. And it didn't take me very long to start worrying, because I could tell that this thing was moving. Whatever it was moving. It was screaming at my direction about every 15 seconds, and that continued as it approached my position for about 20 minutes to get to me. So I don't think it was moving very fast, but it was definitely coming my way. And what I kind of neglected to tell you is when I pulled into the campsite that day to start those fires, I parked my Ford pickup truck right in front of a C-train container that we store our chairs and tents and that kind of stuff in. It's just a C-train container, about a 20-footer. Well, that animal screamed all the way into the camp, and it landed behind the C-train container, and I know now probably about 40, 50 feet on the far side of the container relative to where my truck was. And it sat there and screamed again. It never really stopped that 15-second cadence. And again, I don't know if you can imagine how scared I was. I didn't have to set the stage a little clearer. A lot of times my Ford pickup truck would lock. The door would lock as I got out of it, because the armrest or elbow rest on the door was constantly getting clicked. I was getting out of the car, getting out of the truck and walking.
So, guys, this is a show. I paused it real quick. This is a show that I listen to every night before bed, and it's addicting. It's about an hour. Each show's about an hour. This dude, Wes, he's a really cool guy. What he does is he interviews people that have encountered Sasquatch. So he himself had an encounter, which made him hyper interested in the topic, and he just decided that he was going to start a channel and interview people that had encountered Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. And so he's got hundreds and hundreds of shows. It's fucking fascinating. I like the woods. I like the outdoors myself, and I'm interested in all this. So basically, pretty much each night he's got something going on, and a new show pretty much every night. So I sent the link in YouTube. Subscribe to that. It's pretty good. It's a Bigfoot Hotspot Radio. Now the main is on SasquatchChronicles.com. So there's a bunch of other stuff on that site, but anyway, back to the story here.
On my door, I had a hide key, but a couple of the unknowns, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do when this animal was screaming. I was worried about the truck door being locked. I didn't really know where I'd set my keys because I used them to unlock the container, and we had several locks on the property that I'd used. So I just really didn't know where my keys were, nor did I know if my driver's side door was unlocked. And just absolutely unnerved. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a sidearm. I didn't have all my clothes. I didn't have my shoes. This thing was just raising Cain with me. So during that process, while that animal was stationary, actually while I was walking up, I phoned my oldest son, who happened to be in the hospital emergency room with his son with respiratory distress, a 1.5-year-old baby. And he wasn't in with a doctor. And I said, Billy, I'm in a pickle up here. something's outside and it's big and it's screaming. So I described it, and he said, there's 4 North Americans, and there's only 2 in your area, and you're not describing any of them. So I can't really help you with what it is, Pop. So realizing, and we lost, we were texting and we were phoning during that period. It was kind of bad reception. I kept breaking the connection. So I think about 6 or 7 minutes went by with the animals. From what I could tell, was stationary and very loud. And all of a sudden, the volume dropped in half. And I now know what that was caused from. An animal turned its head and began to leave the area in kind of a real shallow V. It came in on an angle to where I was at, and now was headed to due east toward French Meadows Reservoir, or at least that direction. But it never stopped screaming every 15 seconds. Decidedly more quiet though, Wes, because its head wasn't turned at me. So I heard it walk all the way to where I couldn't hear it anymore. And I actually heard the last scream kind of disappear. And I'm thinking, okay, I got fires burning. I think I'm going to be okay. And this thing has decided to leave. Well, in seconds, it turned around and began to come back. And it sounded just like it did when it approached the first time. It was stronger and stronger vocalizations, 15 seconds apart. And now I know I was getting more scared as the clock ticked, but this animal sounded a lot more aggravated and a lot more furious as it walked back in for the second time. It again lands behind the C-train container, pretty much where I thought it was the first time, and screamed for probably maybe a half dozen more times from that position, and then went quiet. And I'm now like as scared as I've ever been in my life. I never experienced anything in my whole career in the fire service that matched the terror I was experiencing at this point. I literally could hear nothing but my own heartbeat on my neck, behind my ears. It was, I'm actually having a little bit of an effect right now. It was just pounding. My pulse was pounding, my jaw was chattering, and I'm thinking, my God, what am I going to do? And I'm not usually... It's not difficult for me to make a decision. It's never been in my life. And I'm trying to decide what my best odds are. Do I try to hunker down? Do I try to get out of this vehicle and get into my cab, not knowing if the door's locked, not knowing where my keys are? My truck's pointed the wrong way, and this thing sounds big enough to pick my truck up and tip it over if it needed to. So it after 3 minutes, I think it was about 3 minutes, the screaming started again, but the animal had moved broadside to my pickup truck on the driver's side. And what I'll tell you now, I didn't know at the time. It took me, weeks to piece it all back together, to try to rationalize and analyze what had happened to me. But the fires, like I told you, were all on the driver's side of my vehicle on about a 120-yard line, roughly a line. And between the C-train container and my pickup truck being kind of nosed into each other, there was a shadow line, basically a cone of shadow that the flicker from the flames didn't penetrate. My truck was basically creating a shadow for this animal to hide in. Swung around to the driver's side. Now it's pretty close to my truck because I can feel the percussion of the voice. Whereas I don't know how to describe it any different than that. A lot of times I've told this story to my friends, and they said, well, was it pushing your vehicle? And I said, no, there's no thought of that. It was just hitting me with enough sound that either I was moving or the vehicle was moving from the percussion of the sound. And if it was angry coming in, it was really angry coming back. And as it quieted and changed position, it now was, you couldn't do a monster movie any better than what was going on in front of me. So I finally came to grips that if I got caught, I realized if I got caught in the back inside the, shell of my truck, just a kind of a flimsy fiberglass shell, I had no chance. This thing it would just take me to task. Didn't think I'd do a lot better on the outside of the truck, but I opted for that action. So I'm pretty sure after I flipped the broken window gate on the back of my truck up, it never made another noise. I don't have any recollection of another sound. And obviously, since this, I've done a lot of research, a lot of listening to videos, and thankfully I found your station. I have to weasel over the top of the tailgate. I have slip-on shoes. I didn't have boots on. I had slip-on shoes. I got into those, and the animal, I would guess, probably was 30 or 40 paces away from me. but I couldn't get myself to turn to look at it. Now, there wasn't much light. There was light from the fires, but not on where that animal voice was coming from. So an odd behavior that I did, and I don't even know, I can't explain exactly why I did it, but I went past the door of my truck without even touching it, without touching the knob or checking to see if it was open. And I happened to have left my lunch, an icebox, igloo on the front of my truck, and I swiped it off the front of my truck as if that made any difference, right, in this circumstance. I swiped it off the hood of my truck and then backed straight up, not wanting to turn toward the animal, not even know if it was there, to tell you the truth. And the door was open, got into the cab thinking it was coming at me at any second. And now this all happened in probably 5-6 seconds. This isn't a lot of time on the outside of that truck. Opened the door, got in, literally put my hand down on my bench seat, and the keys were where I normally left them, by my right thigh. But I just barely got the truck started. It was below zero. It's a Ford. Glow plugs weren't working very well. Obviously, I locked the doors. Didn't think that mattered. I thought whatever was could come through the door easily. I didn't think I was safe yet. So that the truck just barely started in that cold weather, and had to do a K-turn to get out of there, trying not to hit trees. And I was pretty excited, but trying to almost go slow motion so I wouldn't make a mistake. Got the vehicle turned around. I thought, I'm still not out of here. This thing could hold on to the truck by the sound of what I was hearing. Turned and went down about 1/8 of a mile of real rough access road into this campsite. Went through our gate, wasn't locked. I hadn't locked it behind myself. And the next obstacle I was facing was I had to turn backwards toward the animal on Road 43, another dirt road that takes you from Mosquito Ridge Road over to Robinson Flat Campground. I had to go back kind of toward the animal. Right? I had to go a total of a half mile.
I'm going to play another one for you guys after this one is over, and that one is fucking spooky.
To get clear of our campsite, and the animal had about 200 yards to cover that same distance. So anyway, none of this ever happened. I just was able to drive away. And as soon as I got up to Robinson Flat Campground, I'm now up at about 6,700 foot elevation. I can get an AT&T signal, and I called my son, who was still likely in the hospital with his boy, and said, "Hey, wake my younger son up." I knew Billy couldn't come up because of his boy being sick, but I had to wake my younger son up and get some guns and tell him that I'd be at his house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're coming back up to get my generator and my steel skills or chainsaws and my tools and all this stuff I was using to straighten away the campsite. And that's kind of the end of the story. There's a little more that I want to tell you about the proximity. As I told you that this fire started on Forest Service land in Devil's Basin. And after reading Jeff Meldrum's book, he makes a distinction or a connection between geographical locations that have the word devil in them.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of that story. They get into some more technical details about some of the stuff that happens, but one of the things I really like, there's a lot of good witnesses on this show, and that guy, for example, he has nothing to gain by bringing up this encounter that he had, on his property. This next one I'm going to bring up is even more spooky.
You'll have to forgive me a little bit tonight. I just got back from the dentist, and the left side of my mouth is still numb, and so I'll try my best tonight, but forgive me. Might be an interesting night. We'll see how this goes. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys listening. If you've had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email. Wes@SasquatchChronicles.com is my email address. And tonight's very, very interesting. I'll be speaking to Taylor. Taylor and his girlfriend ran into several of these creatures. They were in the land between the lakes area, and Taylor will go into exactly where he was at. But it's very, very interesting, and it's a very cautionary tale. Be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Going out looking for these things, you might just run into them. And I know Taylor's still having a hard time getting through this, but I really do appreciate him coming on and taking the time to share it. If you get a chance, I know the Sasquatch Chronicles store is open. If you click on the shop link on your top of your browser, it'll take you right to the store. Hope you guys are able to get yourself something nice. Check out some of the merchandise. Let's jump into it tonight. I want to welcome Taylor to the show. Hey, Taylor, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate you being here.
It's a privilege. I'm just glad to be able to talk to you about this. It helps immensely.
No, I appreciate that. I know you had a very recent encounter just a week or so ago, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. It was a Sunday ago. It sure was. And, too recent. I don't want to have another one for a while, let me put it that way.
Well, for the audience, if you would, kind of start from the beginning. Tell us where you were at and what you were out doing. And then just walk us into the encounter. I mean, this is probably one of the more scarier encounters I've heard. But if you would, I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Me and my girl, we was celebrating our anniversary, and we take off down to Nashville, Tennessee. We live in Indiana, so it's about 5 hours. And we're heading down there. And all the way down there, man, I'm thinking, I'd been listening to radio shows and stuff like that. I have never been out in the woods doing any of this. I'm what you guys call an armchair Sasquatch guy. No experience whatsoever. Thinking all the way down there in Nashville, man, I want to stop by the LBL on the way back, the Land Between the Lakes, because I listened to quite a bit of stuff about that. And we're down in Nashville, we're having a good time, and I'm showing her the sights, and we go into a couple of their bars there, and she asked me, "You want to get a drink?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't want a drink," because I wanted to go to the LBL afterwards, and I wanted to be sober and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't want to drink in case we was driving. It's a long ways, and I didn't want an accident or anything like that to happen, or get a DWI or anything stupid like that, trying to be a responsible person. And she didn't drink neither, and it was about 11:30 at night. 11 o'clock, 11:30, something around there. We're metal people. We like metal music, and but I thought that she needed to see this place. And I told her, I said, this is country music at its best. We come over the hill, she sees it, her eyes pop open. She just said, this is not what I expected. Had a good time, spent a lot of money, bought a lot of stuff down there. So we're leaving, and we go get in the car, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to go to the Land Between the Lakes?" I said, we can scoot over that way, maybe an hour out of our way. We was going to get a motel room and stuff like that anyway. And she's like, yeah, it sounds like fun. So we start heading that way. And on the way there, I put in the Bigfoot outlaw gang, Baron, Kumbo, and Matt. And we're listening to their scariest places that they think. And number 2 on the list, or Kumbo goes second, and he says LBL, the Kentucky side. Now, he won't even go in some places during the day and won't go back unless he's with a big group and stuff like that. And from never seeing nothing like this, you kind of think that people's BSing a little bit about it, I mean, I'm not calling them liars. I know they've seen something. Is it really, really like that, And that's...
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
So me and her's listening to that, giggling on the way up. We stop at Walmart. This is how ill-prepared and ignorant I am, okay? And I heard all the warnings, man. All the warnings. But there's something inside of you that thinks that you're impervious, or that, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. If I had it to do over again, no, I wouldn't do it again. No way. Well, anyway, we stopped, find a Walmart. I mean, we're pulling off the interstate, and we went to a couple of truck stops trying to find a spotlight. I figured truck stops would have them. So I asked a lady, is there a Walmart around here? So we drive about 20 miles this way to a Walmart, get back on the interstate that we need to get to LBL. And we're driving, and me and her's talking. My girl is an awesome chick, man. She's like one of the coolest, easy to talk to when you can get her to talk. And I'm saying, like, you know, what's the chances of us seeing anything here? There's been people out in the woods hunting for 40 years and never seen nothing. You know, I said, I'd just like to hear a whoop or something like that. And we're driving, and he says, Kumbo said, I would not go in there without a tank of gas, a shovel, straps, and all that stuff. Well, we fill the car up, and we get that light from Walmart. We're starting to head in there, and I'm getting really nervous. I can't believe I'm talking.
Listen to how realistic. So first of all, somebody that's telling you a story and they're not being honest, you'll be able to read it all in their voice. And this guy, you can hear the stress and the fear in his voice. So realistic, so real.
Well, we start heading in there.
His voice is like shaking. He's like stressed at like a 9 level right now, and he's like just telling the story from his living room. I put mad credibility on this story.
We're driving, and I mean, it's beautiful country. Beautiful country. And we driving, and I see a spot, you know. We see a bunch of spots, and I'm like, you know, the next one, if it looks cool, let's go down it. She's like, okay. Then we drive about another 5 miles, and there is one. I said, go down in there. Now, when you go down in there, you go down a hill, gravel road or dirt road, whatever it is, and it's like kind of like a cul-de-sac with grass in the middle of it. So you can go down and just turn around. You ain't got to turn around, and you just whip right back up. The road goes all the way around, makes a horseshoe. I don't know how to explain that. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's just a loop. You go down and loop around, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We pull down in there, and we get right to the closest to the tree line. Bang. We pull up right there. And I had the spotlight plugged in, charging more and stuff like that. I'd been probably charging for 45 minutes, and it was strong. And I reach down and unplug it, you know. I hear her say, oh, my God. And I got the spotlight in my hand. I come up and I'm looking. Probably 10, 15 feet from my side of the car is the biggest, scariest, ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I am just I am frozen in place. I am stricken with fear. And this thing we are locked eyeballs, man. This thing would not take its eyes off me. And I see some, like, out of the corner of my eye, I look over. There's another one. Standing there, but he don't look like he's standing straight up. He looks like have you ever seen somebody walk on a cane, how they kind of lean over to one side a little bit?
Yeah.
That's the way this one was standing. And he's standing there like that. And he's a little bit shorter than another one. I'd say a foot shorter, but he's like 10 feet away from him. So, but he's hunched over. He could be the same size. I'm not for sure about that. And but the one standing right there by the car, man, this dude, he's 8, 9 foot, something like that. Just the biggest. I've never seen anything that big in my life. And I've seen elephants, you know, take kids to the zoo and stuff like that. But this guy, I mean, elephants are big. He's not as big as an elephant, but I mean, just the width of it, all that. I mean, he's just enormous. And on top of it, he's the scariest and ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've seen pictures of Patty, as they call her, the one from they took in '67. That picture, Bob. What's his name? Gimlin or?
Yeah, Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. These look absolutely nothing like that. They just nothing like that.
What did you see?
Well, it had real sunken in eyes. I mean,
Val, this is, I fall asleep every night to these shows, every single night. Half the time I wake up and like there's something screaming in my ear.
and his eyes was deep set in his head, and they were just, I'm going to say dark brown, almost black, and you don't see no whites, and you can't even tell if there's a pupil in them. And his lips were really, you know, they're thin, and it kind of looked like he had a little bit of a snout, because at first I thought it was a dog man, but it ain't a dog man, because it's not got the German Shepherd head, and its ear, it didn't have ears sticking straight up, but it had a little bit of like a muzzly type. Not, its teeth kind of protruded out a little bit, but you couldn't see his teeth. I mean, his lips were like pursed together real tight. His nose was it wasn't really super. It was flat, but not like pancaked flat and like a boxer I've heard people describe. It wasn't like that. I mean, you could tell what it was, and it had structure to it. And his cheeks were kind of sunken in a little bit too. He kind of looked like somebody that, if you've ever seen a person that's not taken real good care of themselves and they went through a little bit of a weight loss, how their cheeks are kind of sunken in. His cheeks was a little bit sunken in. And the hair, not fur, I'm talking hair. You could see through the hair. It wasn't real dense and thick. It wasn't like a coat on a dog. You could see the skin through it, and he was well defined. I mean, he was just enormous, and he was. I mean, he didn't have abs like a six-pack or nothing like that. He was just tight, wide, thick, and he's hairy, but you can see through that hair. As I'm sitting here looking at him, my attention is back on him after looking at the one over there. And I am just sitting there in total fear, and I did not mean to do this, and I've been thinking about this. The reason he probably didn't come no closer is because when I come up with that, he might have thought that was a gun or something of that nature. And I had that in my hand, and I accidentally just hit the button, and it lit everything up. And when it did, there was two more behind him, like flanking on each side of them. There was two in the back. One I could see a little bit, and I caught eye shine from the other one. But there was definitely another. There was four of them right there at that spot, and they all kind of tried to raise their hands up and block the light, you know. Or the one that was kind of hunched over didn't. He just looked forward. He never looked at us. I don't know how I took all this in. You know, I don't know. But all of a sudden, the one standing closest to me made this real weird whistling noise. Like it was a hum. I can't do it, but and then like its pitch jumped up and down. And when he done that, he took his, like if he was pointing to his right, to the one that was hunched over. And the moment he done that, the one at his right dropped down on all fours, man, and was gone. I've never seen anything move that fast. or it was just, pow, gone. And I started screaming, go, 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 like that. And the one standing right next to me takes a step back and just disappears into the tree line. And I don't mean like them flute smokers think portal. There's none of that. The flute players, you know what I'm talking about. He didn't step into a portal and disappear that way. He just stepped back into the stuff and was taken off to, I just lost track of him. I mean, he was gone. And Val goes screaming around that thing. I mean, we're in a brand new car in a Toyota Corolla. We come flying up that, and we almost crashed. She gets it on the road, and we're just all flipped out, man, crying. When I first seen that guy, I hate to admit this, but man, I peed all over I couldn't even control myself, man. I don't know how to explain it. It was just, I'm shaking real bad right now, even just trying to recall some of this. She's going down the road, man. She's doing 80 miles per hour. And I'm not kidding. I'm rocking, and I don't rock. Like, you see people rocking back and forth. And this is what bothers me, is it's like, I've always thought people have done that. People do it, but they do it for comfort reasons. And, you know, and here I am doing that, and I'm rocking back and forth and kind of got my hands up by the side of my head. And I look over and I see how fast she's going. And I mean, she's dead-faced, tears are rolling down. And I mean, her face is just, I felt so sorry for her that I put her in that situation, man. She wakes up at night screaming. She don't want to talk about this. And I told her that I might talk to you, and she's like, listen, dude, please don't get me involved. I can't get this out of my head. Please, please, please. I look over and I see she's doing like 80 miles per hour. I said, Val, slow down, honey. I said, if one of these dudes would step out in front of us and we hit them, they'd kill us. And I said, they would, you know, they'd drag us off and we'd be done for. So she starts slowing down and stuff, and we're going. We're not talking. You're trying to figure out what the heck is, what? Really? This just happened to me? And we're driving down, and we go about 10 miles, I think. And then all of a sudden, we see deer, not just like 2 or 3. I'm talking like maybe 10, but we stop, and they're bounding across the street in front of us. I mean, they're just flying. And you always hear that dead deer in the headlight look. We had our brights on, man, and they just didn't care if we were there or what. They were getting across that road. None of them stopped. None of them looked our way. I mean, they were flying, and she stopped, right? And then all of a sudden I look over, boom, 2 step right out onto the road. One of them squatted down like he's on his hands are touching the ground, but his knees ain't. He's kind of squatted, and and he's still probably 5 foot in that position high. He's as tall as I am, and I'm 5'7". I'm a little bitty guy. He's as tall as I am, squatted down like that, like he's in he's getting ready to go into a defensive position, you know, like a defensive lineman. You know how they sit there for a second and then they snap up. He was right there. His butt wasn't touching the ground. His knees wasn't, but his hands was, and he slumped over. And the other one is just standing there looking dead ahead. Me and Val's just sitting there looking. And all of a sudden, like something out of a frickin' movie or something, I don't know how to explain it. He turns his upper body, his torso, toward us, and he's looking right at us. And then he takes his left leg and brings it around, and he's standing facing us dead on, right, lined right up with the car. And this is the part I'll never forget ever. he curls his frickin' lip up. Like I said, he's got the whitest teeth I've ever seen, but maybe it's because his skin was really dark and black. And he's got his lip kind of curled up over his teeth, and he opens his mouth a little bit. And he makes this sound like, "Meow." But it's so freaking loud, man. It shook the car, shook us. I thought my heart was going to bust out of my chest when they'd done that. And all of a sudden, we're going in reverse. Val just slapped it in reverse. And he kind of like leaned forward. And it didn't seem like we was making it away from him. It's like he's leaning in like something in 3D coming at you. And he kind of gets a smile on his face. I don't know how to explain it, but you get these perceptions in your head. They're not mind speaking or none of that crazy crap to me. It's just body language and the way the face does. It's like he kind of smiled and was looking at us, just an evil smile. And it was like, you get to live today. And we're backing up, and then all of a sudden he just looks back at the tree line, steps off, I mean a big step, and he is gone. The other one that was squatted down, this is what, I can't get around this at all, and this has been in my head freaking me out. He kind of turns his head toward us to look at us like, what are you guys doing? We're doing something here, and you guys are disrupting. He had the puzzlement looking on his face, and that's the only thing I can think, you know. And once again, there was no telecommunication or nothing like that. It was just my perception of the way he was looking at us. He was like a dog. He kind of kicked his head sideways a little bit and was looking at us like, you idiots, can't you see that I'm in the middle of something here? What's going on? And he reached up. Man, this dude's arm, it seemed like it went on for days. He reached up, grabbed a tree limb, whoosh, gone. Just gone. And we're sitting there for a second, man. I mean, just stunned. We didn't look at each other. She throws it back in drive and just takes off because there's no place for us to turn off or anything. And I mean, I wasn't going to turn. We probably wouldn't turned off anyway. But I'm looking back to see if there's some coming at us or what. I didn't know if we was boxed in, what was going to happen, and I've been running all this stuff through my head. And we're driving down the road. We go about another 10 miles. We're still in the middle of this stinking forest, man. All I want is the city lights. I want to be in a city. I don't want to see a tree, nothing. And she's driving, and she's like, Taylor, I can't drive no more. Can you drive, please? And I said, honey, I just keep going. When we get out of here, we'll get what we need done. Just keep going. And she starts to stop, and where she's going to stop, because she's serious. She's like, honey, you got to drive. And when she starts to stop, there's like all these, I don't know if they were tree structures or not, crosses or X's or any of that crap. I don't know what it was, but it looked like at that point I'm seeing everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Val, don't stop here. Go look over there to them trees, please, honey. Don't stop here. Just drive. So we're driving on. We finally get out of there, and we come to this little, at the end of the forest, this like little town. It's got a gas station. It's well lit up. There's a hotel there, a little store, and I don't know all what was there, but I know the gas station, hotel, because I can see them. And it's open, and we go in there and we get some clothes out to go. We had to change our clothes. Both of us urinated on ourselves and stuff, and we go in there, and we're walking in, and the attendant, I mean, we dry our eyes and we try to pull it together as much as you can pull it together after something like that. And the attendant goes, you all right? And stuff like that. And I said, have you got a bathroom we use? We need to change our clothes. And I know she could see, just, it looked like we pissed our pants. And I've been in hairy situations before, man, but nothing's ever made me look like, well, anyway, And she said, yeah, there's a men and women right there. And we go in there, and we're changing our clothes, and we come out, and the woman asked again, are you guys all right? And Val said, you guys got monsters in there. That's what she said the same thing you did, monsters. Because I've heard your account, and like when you told that park ranger, hey, you got monsters up there. She said almost the same thing. You guys got monsters. I can't remember what she exactly, but I know she said there's monsters in there. And the woman just kind of shook her head and smirked, and like, you don't know the half of it, honey. So we got about 4 hours to get home. We get in the car, and it's probably 4:30 in the morning by this time. I don't know how long all that stuff took. I mean, it seemed like it took years off my life. I know that's what it took. But we was only an hour away, so we should have got there at 12:30, 1 o'clock or something like that, because we stopped at Walmart. We got gas and some drinks. But when we come outside of that, we get back in the car, it's 4:30 in the morning. We're not staying nowheres around there. Val didn't even say, you want to stay in that hotel there? Neither one of us even thought that. We're going home. And I mean, we drove like crazy all the way there home. We got home about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, exhausted, wore out, couldn't sleep, can't close your eyes because you start seeing them nasty things. I've never seen nothing so ugly in my life. They don't look like none of the stuff you see on the internet. I don't know how to even explain them. And I've thought and been asked, did you think it was them running up and coming around? The first two that I've seen real good, and the last two I've seen looked nothing alike. They couldn't have been further. I wouldn't even put them in the same species because the facial structure and everything, nothing alike.
And I found that part of your encounter interesting. Can you describe the differences and the similarities between the two different types you ran into between the first set and then the second set as you're driving down the road?
Okay. The second set, I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, that first one standing there, I seen when we pulled down that thing, I seen him great, okay? But the second ones, they're just burned in my brain. They don't have that, they don't have a conical head. No, their head's like rounded on top. They had the heavy brow, no forehead. I mean, I hear people talk about a forehead. It's like from the brow went straight back. But they, and the one standing looking at the car, I could see a piece of an ear, like the rim of an ear on his right side. And on his left side, there was nothing. I think that ear had been ripped off or something. I really got the feeling that ear was missing the outer cartilage of it. When he opened his mouth, the inside of his mouth was black. His tongue was black. Everything was black. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. Except on like a purebred dog, but this was different. This was nasty. This was disgusting. His nose wasn't really flat neither. It was. It kind of had a little. It wasn't upturned. It wasn't smashed against his face or nothing like that. Like the first one. The first one's nose was kind of flat, but not flat and smashed like I've heard him describe. But the second one, it kind of had a little. It's just kind of a little bit upturned. Like you'll see people like that. Their nose has just got a little dip up He goes, my second wife's nose was like that a little bit. And it's cute on people, but not in this situation. And then his eyes, man, his eyes were black, piercing. His face was good and full. That's the one I think that they're trying to say is the Neanderthal-looking one. He just, it was just ugly, man. It's so hard to put into words. It's like asking a blind person to describe the color red that's never seen it. But I mean, I've seen this, so I'm gonna do my best. He had real high cheekbones. He kind of. I've been thinking about this a lot. How I'm going to be able to explain the face to you. Okay, from the center of his nose up was kind of like up to his brow ridge was like looked like Native American. You know how they got the high cheekbones, but that's you put that across there, and down when you come down with the nose, it was, I mean, big wide mouth, thin lips. His stuff didn't protrude. It was more. I don't want to say they look human because they ain't human. There's nothing. It's, if I was across a human, chimpanzee, gorilla, Neanderthal, all that together, that's what the face is going to look like. I mean, I don't know how to explain that to you. You get the feeling because the skin is black, like a gorilla, but they don't look like a gorilla neither. The one squatting had that Down syndrome look to him, real. I mean, he had that look 90 mile an hour. Both of them kind of did, but that one was more of it. You would have thought that there was something wrong with him if you seen him. And I mean, the way he was kicking his head and giving me that puzzled look too. I mean, it's like he couldn't figure out what was going on. And I'm not trying to sound, I hope it didn't come off bad. I'm not trying to say anything like that. But he looked Down syndrome. His nose was flat. His was like flat across his face. He did have a really, really flat nose. But like when the other one, the one that was leaning over the car, when he turned and looked back, and when he was looking at first at the forest, you could see the profile of his nose. You could see it sticking off and stuff like that. At the side profile, I've been thinking about this a lot. It kind of resembled like a person, but it didn't. You know, there was. But when it looks you dead on, you see all the animal features in it and just the nastiness of it, and they look nothing like Patty, not at all.
I almost wonder if they were hunting in that area and you guys stumbled in between what they were doing. I know everyone out there really wants to see one, and I know everyone out there really wants to run into one, but I'm telling you, most encounters are not happy encounters. They just aren't. Walking up and petting one of these things on the head, you're probably going to lose your life doing something like that. They're probably going to kill you.
Oh, listen, I walked away from this. I'm going to tell you something I did get a strong sensation of. That me and Val almost got out of that freaking car. That just kills me. That's what I was fixing to do, was get out and start walking to the tree line. If they would have waited a few seconds, man, you wouldn't be talking to me. I know you wouldn't. Them dudes were looking at me, the ones that stared at me, and I know what they was looking at. It's like in one of them Bugs Bunny cartoons where the guy sees the other guy as a hot dog. That's what I look like to them. A little hot dog, but a hot dog's still the same. These guys, they was going to eat us. And listen, I don't believe, not for a second, that we're ever going to know anything about these creatures, because they will not have it. I think they're intelligent, but then I was thinking about this today. If they're so smart, how come they almost get hit by cars all the time stepping out in front of them and stuff like that? But that one, I'm going to tell you what, a quarterback's the only way I know how to explain it. Like Peyton Manning, pointing down at a wide receiver, telling him his route to run. And that other one, bam, took off, ran his route, man. I think what they was doing was circling around us, because that's the only thing I can think.
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm tired, but I'm listening to the story. I'm trying not to interrupt it. Is what it is. This is a good story.
So many thoughts go through my head, and I can't get it cleared out, and I'm sick of this, and I hate it, and I wish it never happened to me. And to see my girl going away, what she's going through right now, I mean, loss of appetite, everything. Can't sleep, wakes up screaming sometimes when she does sleep. I am so sorry that I put her in that, and there's nothing I can say or do to take it away from her. I have never hunted. I've never shot an animal. I went fishing with my grandpa when I was a little kid, and I prayed nothing would get on my hook. I'm not that person. I'm an easygoing guy. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm very animated when I move and talk and stuff like that. That's why I wish you had a TV show, man, so I could show you how these things were leaning around, and I mean just hunched over, hands down past the knees. I mean, these things ain't right, man. They just nothing. Look, you can't call them Bigfoot. You can't call them Sasquatch. They don't fit them, because to me, Bigfoot's Patty. Okay, that's what I see as Bigfoot. These things, as I heard someone say yesterday, are an abomination. And buddy, that is the frickin' truth. These things, they have nothing but ill will for us in their heart. I know that because I felt that. I felt like I was going to be devoured. That's the only way I know to put it. And this is what's so stupid, okay? I hear this stuff on TV, because I got Google Cast, and I play off YouTube on TV. And I hear these guys laughing and joking, talking about going down through there, and, you know, one threw a rock, or they heard a whistle, and it was 10 foot away from the 10 or whatever. Listen, they make that sound cool. That ain't cool. It ain't cool. You get within 10. Listen, my encounter, I would have gave anything in this world if I would have had one of them 200-yard encounters. And I'm not sure that wouldn't have messed me up neither.
I wouldn't beat yourself up too much over it. You didn't know you're going to run into these things. I mean, your chances of running into them are slim to none. And then to run into a group of them is even more terrifying. And you're right. I understand what you're saying regarding the TV shows and everything. And I think a lot of that is just for entertainment. But in the same breath, you could get someone killed going out there. And I look at some of those guys on TV shows, and I think, well, what if one comes up? What if you actually run into one?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I guarantee you guys are going to be in some big trouble if one actually shows up. And that's the terrifying part. I really would. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I honestly would not beat yourself up over putting your girlfriend in that position, because your chances of running into it are slim to none. But you guys definitely ran into it that night.
I've heard people say, I've been an armchair guy. I have not went out in the woods looking for tree structures. I live in Indiana, and I live kind of outside of Indianapolis, and it's a rural area, and there's a big forestry right at the south end of us, and there's been like 3 sightings in the town that I live in, because there's a lot of woods. There's woods everywhere. I got 2 dogs. Let me explain something. I love animals, all animals. I would never do anything to hurt them. I used to feel guilty for eating steak and stuff like that. But doggone it, that's good food, and you get past that. But, I mean, I would never do anything to hurt an animal. These things need to be exterminated, man. And if anybody thinks I'm bad for saying that, I'll tell you what, I'll swap any moment in time with them. They can have mine going through there, and then they can tell me how they feel. These things, these people wants to habituate, what's that word? Have a habitat with them or whatever? Or
habituation.
Thank you. Listen, they're foolish for trying to give them food and stuff like that, man. And some of these people think that they might be able to Jane Good all these things. That ain't happening. I'm telling you what, right now, they are smart. I'm sorry if I ramble. I'm all nervous again, and I'm surprised I didn't start crying, but
No, you're okay. You're okay. You know, and you're right. You can't Jane Good all these things. It doesn't work with these things. And I've said that, and I've taken a lot of heat for saying something like that. But you're right. You just can't. You're not going to go out and feed these things apples. You're not going to sit and observe them. You're not going to do that with these things. And going back to your comment earlier, you know, I had asked a military guy one time, what are these things? He claimed to be part of the kill teams. He claimed to be part of going out and getting rid of these things, you know, in bad situations. And so I'd asked him, I said, well, what are these things? Is it a primate? Are they human? What are they? And he came back and said, it's an abomination, Wes. And he almost said word for word what you just said, Taylor. He said that you need to execute every one of them you see. They're an abomination, which is an interesting term for him to use, because I can tell you from talking to this Special Forces guy, he wasn't really a religious man, but to use the term abomination, that's a biblical term. That's something that's in the Bible. And for him to use that term got my attention really quick. And that wasn't the first time I've heard that. It's terrifying, man. And it's fascinating how you ran into one group. You guys take off going 80 miles an hour trying to get the hell out of there. And then you run into two more. That
ain't fascinating. That is just the worst luck in the frickin' world. There ain't nothing fascinating about it.
All right, guys, that is Sasquatch Chronicles. Here's the channel. You guys should subscribe to that if you like it. These are all real Sasquatch encounters. Stuff that goes bump in the woods. I hope you enjoyed it. That's usually what I'm falling asleep to at night after the stream. Wes is a good host. Does a good show. I didn't, Stetson. I didn't. I'm gonna call it after this one, guys. It's almost 2 a.m. here. My kids are gonna be up at 7. When the drops come, Val, you're gonna be stoked, though. Alright guys, you made it to credit roll. What did you guys think about the playing the radio show tonight while we were grinding? Was that interesting? Wookiee stories. I figured it'll break up a little bit of this YouTube music. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, I really appreciate you guys being here tonight, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody, and have a great Sunday.